What's good? What's great? What's golly, everybody? Welcome to today's deep dive into one of the most anticipated games of the year, South of Midnight. If you're a fan of immersive storytelling, jaw-dropping visuals, and games that feel like art in motion, well, you're in for a treat. South of Midnight is developed by Compulsion Games, the same studio behind Contrast and We Happy Few. This action-adventure title is set to launch on April 8th, 2025 for Xbox Series X and S and PC. But here's a little blessing for you. It's coming day one to Xbox Game Pass as well. So you ain't gonna have to spend a lot of money, you feel me? But let's get to why you're here. You're probably gonna ask me, why should South of Midnight be on your radar? What makes it stand out in the crowded gaming space of 2025? Well, pick it with me as we explore this story, its gameplay mechanics, the artistic vision, and everything else that makes this game so special. And by the end of this video, I guarantee you'll be as hyped as I am, or at least a little bit more interested in South of Midnight. All right, so let's start with the juicy meat. Let's start with the heart, the juicy meat of any great game. The story. South of Midnight isn't just another action game, it's a modern folktale steeped in Southern Gothic charm. The developers at Compulsion Games have crafted a narrative that feels both deeply personal and universally resonant. You feel me? It makes it relatable, it makes it feel good. Now, the story begins in the fictional town of Prospero, located deep in the American South. After a devastating hurricane tears through the town, Hazel, our protagonist, is pulled into a surreal world where memory and myth collide. Now her mission, her whole reasoning for being, is to rescue her mother from the clutches of the strange realm while uncovering long-buried family secrets. She's about to go in her closet and get out that skeleton, y'all. It's about to be nice. But during the journey, you'll realize Hazel isn't your typical hero. She's a weaver, a magical mender who can stitch together broken bonds and spears, kind of like what Aang did with Heibai, the little panda spirit that was mad about the forest and all that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But regardless, her journey is as much about saving her mother as it is about confronting her family's past. Now, the game explores themes like grief, trauma, and reconciliation in ways that feel authentic and emotionally impactful. To me, the setting itself is a character in the game. The developers have drawn inspiration from Southern folklore and history to create a world that feels both hauntingly beautiful and eerily unsettling. Imagine decayed mansions surrounded by swamps, ghostly figures lurking in the shadows, and mythical creatures that seem pulled straight from the old Southern legends. Now me, I'm a huge fan of mythical creatures and legends like the chimeras, hydras, and minotaurs from Greek and Roman mythologies. But speaking on legends and myths, South of Midnight introduces players to create. But speaking of all those legends and myths, South of Midnight introduces players to creatures inspired by Southern folklore. Now, these aren't just everyday regular enemies. They're beings with their own stories and traumas. And Hazel's role as a weaver allows her to heal these creatures rather than simply defeat them, adding an extra layer of emotional complexity to the gameplay. Speaking of combat and gameplay, let's talk about what you'll actually be doing in South of Midnight. The gameplay combines action-packed combat with exploration and puzzle solving, all tied together by Hazel's unique weaving abilities. And Hazel's weaving powers are central to combat. Unlike traditional weapons or magic systems, her abilities allow her to manipulate enemies in creative ways. You'll use moves like pushing enemies away, pulling them closer for combos, or stunning them with bursts of energy. Early gameplays are out there that are kind of showing that the combat feels fluid and dynamic, which rewards players who think strategically and ain't just running around going through spamming buttons like you want to beat them up. But let's look at some of the exploration. The world of South of Midnight is huge and diverse, offering plenty of opportunities for exploration, from swampy landscapes to crumbling mansions. Every area feels alive with detail. And Hazel, she can use her weaving skills for traversal, think double jumps, gliding across gaps, or creating pathways through obstacles. Now, as a weaver, Hazel isn't just fighting enemies, she's repairing the world itself, kind of like being an avatar. Yeah, I know it's a lot of Avatar references. I just happened to be watching Avatar, and it's the first thing that came to mind. Let me live. But anyway, you're gonna be using her powers for a bunch of puzzles, to mend broken objects or stitch together fragments of memories. These moments, they add depth to gameplay while reinforcing the themes of healing and restoration. One standout feature that caught my eye and attention is Hazel's encounters with Haints. Haints are destructive entities born from trauma and pain, which are similar to the curses in JJK. These encounters are more than just boss battles. They're opportunities for Hazel to cleanse areas corrupted by grief and restore balance to the world. Each Haint has its own story, making these moments feel personal. Each Haint has its own story, making these moments feel personal rather than purely mechanical. Let's talk about this art style, because I think it looks so good. To me, they put their foot in the artwork. I kid you not. The game's animation is inspired by stop motion techniques. If you don't know what that is, think Kubo and the Two Strings, Coraline, or maybe even Nightmare Before Christmas for my old heads. What this does is gives the characters and environments a tactile feel, and this art style choice creates an otherworldly yet mesmerizing effect that perfectly complements the Southern Gothic vibe in my opinion. The world feels very immersive with the environments and is rich with detail. From moss-covered trees swaying in the wind to broken down buildings oozing atmosphere, every corner of Prosperos feels alive with history and mystery. I know, not for everyone. I know, stop motion may not be for everyone. Y'all may not love stop motion aesthetic, but it's definitely unique and it's definitely a choice. And it's hard not to admire Compulsion Games' commitment to their artistic vision. And for those who prefer smoother visuals during gameplay, there will be an option to disable stop motion effects outside of cutscene. Let's talk about why you should actually be excited for South of Midnight. So far, we covered the story, the fire gas story about Hazel and what she needed to do, figuring out family trauma and trying to save her mama. The gameplay, we heard about her being a weaver, almost like an avatar, trying to save the world, trying to restore the world, while also figuring out her past and her memories. And we thought about and heard about the art style. I know a lot of people are kind of confused on the stop motion. I know a lot of us, some of us, were looking forward to the art style, but that's one of the main points. But here is what we really want to know. Let's get into why South of Midnight deserves your attention and possibly some of your money. If you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, and let's be honest, let's face it, who isn't these days? It's like $1 a month if you're new. I'm gonna say that again. It's like $1 a month if you're new. And if not, I think it's between like 15 and 20 bucks or something like that, around that. But that's still a better price point than spending 60, 70 bucks on, a brand new game. I don't remember exactly how much South of Midnight is coming out with, but I'm pretty sure it's between 60 and 70. So you'll be able to play South of Midnight on launch without spending any extra cash. Again, $1 a month if you're new. And to me, that alone makes it worth checking out. That's the same thing I did with Avowed. I did not spend any money on that. I spent $1, played it enough, and was like, oh, it's a good game. Now I get to save some bread. But let's be honest though. In an industry filled with sequels and cookie cutter action games, South of Midnight actually stands out as something truly different, something that we never really seen before. It blends Southern Gothic storytelling, emotional themes, and innovative gameplay that offers an experience that you won't really see or find anywhere else. Now, I know we talk about this art a lot, but this ain't just a game. It's a piece of work that tells a story about healing and self-discovery. Early gameplay suggests that South of Midnight could be one of those rare games that stay with you long after you finish it. Think like Final Fantasy, any of the Final Fantasy. Think about Kingdom Hearts, any of them. And a whole bunch of other games that just sits with you after you finish it. Like I'm talking about really sit with you and make you feel something. For my hardcore fans or my collectors out there, consider picking up the premium edition. It includes early access. It comes with exclusive extras like art books, soundtracks, comic books, music videos, and a behind-the-scenes documentary. For me, that alone is worth it because most premium editions or deluxe editions don't really come with too much anymore. It seems like Compulsion Games is really trying to push something. It's really trying to push what they worked on, and you can see it here. Not too many games are doing that. And let's not forget who's making the damn game. Compulsion Games has proven themselves capable of delivering unique experiences with titles like Contrast. If you don't know what that is, I'm pretty sure it was a puzzle platformer that was set in a dreamlike world. And We Happy Few, which was a survival game. So if their past work is any indication, then we are in good hands here. But all right, man, that's everything you need to know about Wild South of Midnight. Should be on your radar. It should be on your Game Pass account. It should be on your PC. You should be checking it out. But whether you was drawn to its hauntingly beautiful setting, its emotionally relatable story, or its innovative gameplay mechanic, this game promises something truly special. So make sure you mark your calendars for April 8th. And if you're on Game Pass, well, you're lucky. You're lucky. Until next time, y'all. All right, I want to start the. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do the outro over. Appreciate y'all for watching. Let me know in the comments what excites you most about South of Midnight. Are you ready to dive into the magical Southern Gothic adventure? But if not, or until next time, we're gonna do that over. Appreciate y'all watching. Let me know in the comments what excites you most about South of Midnight. Are you ready to dive into this magical Southern Gothic adventure? Until next time, God Squad.